Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Straight Line Motorsports Ferrari GT World Challenge here, round number 11, live at the Suzuka International Course. I am your host and today's commentator for today's race, SLM_RDZ, and I'm once again joined by the man in charge of SLM, Elliot F64. And Elliot, we're looking at another cracking race here today for the penultimate round of the Ferrari GT World Challenge, of course.
Absolutely. Good evening, Trevor, and good evening to our viewers. Yeah, looking for another exciting one to close off the to start to bring the championship to a close here at Suzuka. A lot of people have been saying that they've been struggling around here during practice and testing, so I think we're going to see quite a scruffy one, but at the same time, hoping for some cracking racing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that a couple of these guys have noted as well, that sometimes the Suzuka course, it's a very fun course to drive around here and all that stuff like that, but sometimes keeping it within the two white lines on either side of the wheels, and the number 24 nearly getting into a collision there with the 13. Yeah, it's just sometimes it's going to be extremely difficult for some of these drivers. And we saw last time out at Laguna Seca, where it was just extremely, or about 2 weeks ago or so at Laguna Seca, that course was incredibly difficult for a lot of people as well. And Bathurst as well, especially. That course was difficult as well. So I think it's going to be a bit easier today with the course layout for Suzuka. But I think it's just going to be all down to the driver and how much they want to attack this course, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. So qualifying now, about to get underway. And so I did know a little thing from the paddock as well, that the man in the championship lead for the 24, SLM Palmer, our championship leader, is interestingly going to start from the back of the grid, even behind the GT4s.
Just the back of the
GT3s, obviously.
He's only starting at the back of the GT3s.
So we're going to see how he can go out and about for basically just kind of nullifying his grid starting position and letting the other three GT3s get ahead of him so that he can be really on top to try and get some good racing here thus far, because I think he knows his championship advantage is too nullified right now. I want to see, so I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to go about out and about as well. And I think Range 10 is kind of holding up the field. I'm getting a little bit interesting right up in the paddock, of course, for these
crucially
drivers
as well, we're missing a few drivers again this weekend, so the numbers are depleting slightly. We've got 8 drivers this weekend.
Yeah, and he's actually had an incident. Hopefully it was nothing too significant. I think he might have just got it a bit too early on the power. Yeah, on the green stuff as well. Good save though for the number 15 of Grand J10. James Head, of course, also going to be well and truly up and trying to get up the order as well as he can. He got a third place. He got a second, I think it was a third place last time out at Mount Panorama. So a good day in the box office for the 7 of James. Viper, unfortunately, one of the quicker drivers in this GT3 championship, who unfortunately mega struggled and was only able to capitalize on P4. He did come away though as the one who did get that fastest lap bonus point at the end of that race for the GT3 class. As for the GT4s, it is the number 22 of Keelan who will not be racing today, so that's going to blow that championship wide open for Tice.
Yeah, so I think based on what's happening with Keelan's not able to attend the last 2 races of the season.
So really, this could blow the championship wide open for. This could be the good chance for Keelan, because he's only 26 points behind. A win and a fastest lap bonus point can really help
Tice.
Yeah, Tice. He can really get back up into the championship fight, obviously.
Yeah, you said Keelan, so I think I just had to correct you there.
Sorry.
But yeah, Tice.
My apologies.
Tice is Tice who didn't. I can't seem to remember if Tice actually started. Was he here at the very start of the championship, or did he join like a couple of races in?
I think he did join a couple races. Let me double check. Excuse me. Yeah, he only got 1 point from. He only got 1 point from Monza, and then pretty much pretty much good success all around. Second place at Nürburgring has really just kicked himself off. And Brands Hatch, of course, he had that one disconnect as well, so that's really kind of put a dent in things right there. Right, enough of talking with the individual drivers. 4 cars in each class here today, but the action, like we said in previous seasons, has not stopped in any shape or form whatsoever. And so now qualifying going to shape things up very interesting indeed. Jamestown now going through Spoon at the top of the circuit. Very, very antsy on the throttle here as you get out of Spoon for the long straightaway towards 130R. A very high-speed left-hander, which is either going to be in your favor or is going to be against you, obviously. And let's see how he attacks this corner. Lets off the throttle slightly, then gets back on it halfway mid-corner, and then quickly pounces back on it for the chicane, and then for the final right-hand corner before you start your next lap. And so what's it going to be for James? He's not going towards the right, which is what you want to be for qualifying. It's a 157.3 for the 7 of James. Viper has had some form of an incident, and he's about 1.1 seconds off the pace. 58.5 is the time for him. Grand G10 with a 55.8. Palmer did say he was going to strategically start behind the GT3 grid, so he will get, obviously, not pole position. So it's either going to be Grand G10, Viper, or James. Of course, Tice with a 2:07.959. Good time for him in the number 78. Doug Bear with a 2:13, 5 seconds off the pace, so he definitely has something gone wrong in his hot lap. Hairraiser, I think, as well, had something on his lap as well.
Hairraiser had a moment on his out lap, I think, because coming round to park up, he dropped behind me strangely, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting. Barr going up into third in class in the 27. And keep in mind, Doug Barrow, he's not entirely out of this championship as well. He is somewhat in it with a chance. He's at 137 points. I don't think he, unfortunately, can get first in the championship because he's too far out. But I think, depending on if Tice is a bad race, he could come through and still swipe second place in the championship standings if he could. So Doug Barrow in the third place in the GT4 standings, is still in it with a chance technically.
Yeah, whereabouts on track is Palmer in relation to Tice? Is he towing him around?
No, Palmer is at Spoon right now, and Tice is about 2 cars behind him right now.
Okay.
So no tow whatsoever for Tice for the Cymax crew. James is actually going to come into the pits this time and get some fresh rubber, which is quite interesting. Will Viper follow him in for the same tactics as well? Yes, he will for the pit cycle. Grand G10, I assume, is going to pit this time as well. Oh, a little bit sideways for Grand G10. Good car control, of course. Palmer going to pit as well, and I imagine Grand G10 as well. Yes, he will. All the GT3s are going to come into the pits this time for some fresh rubber. James Head and Viper both relinquished from their pit boxes after getting a quick set of either Pirelli or Michelin slicks. I think it's just Pirelli. Just Pirelli slicks. And I believe it's the Cymax crew that are on the Michelin compound as well. Yeah, that's definitely right. Doug Barrow to 6 tenths behind Tice, but Doug did not pit that time I think he will come in to pit this time Actually, no, it's not even going to matter. I think Tice is going to try and extend that gap. Hairraiser and Barr, however, are going to pit this time So this is going to set things up for us, possibly 1 or 2 laps of hot lap action here today. And so we'll go take a look at the championship standings while we got the chance here real quickly. We got the number 24 of Palmer, who's just pretty much cleared off of the GT3 championship at this rate. 225 points for the leader, with about 6 race wins and 4 second places for him. So his best result first, his worst result second, basically. So very, very incredible consistent job for Palmer this season. Yere, unfortunately, retiring from the championship with 177 points. But Viper is still in it with a chance. He's one of those drivers that has had shown pace to win, but I think has just been outnumbered and outran every single time. So for the 82 Ferrari, he's going to try and win these last 2 races, at least one of the 2 races if possible. So starting on with the second set of flying laps, James Head going to go through for another lap to try and better improve on his 57.3. However, Viper did say the qualifying times would be in the low 57s and possibly into the 56s if he can get a good run. So with the lighter fuel load, this could certainly help Viper out somewhat, but it's going to be very, very interesting here thus far. Grand J10 about to begin his second official flying lap. Palmer now also going to strategically bail out on this lap as well. Where is Doug Barrow? He's actually setting himself up for his another flying lap. It's a 2:07, 43 thousandths behind Tice in the 78. Doug Barrow is really trying, and he's only going to actually have just one more lap to do it. He's on very worn tires, but he's giving it absolutely everything that he's got in that 13 Ferrari. Where is Hairraiser thus far? He's actually just going to Hairraiser and Barr coming through for their final laps.
Yeah, they should be the last ones across the line, I think. I'm not sure who's coming up to Spoon.
I think that's James. Yeah, it is James. So basically, these guys only going to get one lap just to do it. So this
James
is very...
might get there. What lap time is his? What's he currently on in terms of lap time?
He's... Oh, you know what? No, I think he's going to be just shy. I think he's just going to be just
1 minute
shy.
40, he's okay.
He's on a purple sector now, 3/10 up, 36.9 at the second sector. 42 now, 12 seconds to go. Yeah, I think he's just going to be short, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I think now that will conclude qualifying just. So we got James, with a big tank slap out of the final corner. James had going to come through the final chicane, improve by 0.5 to a 56.8. Where is Viper? Can he improve? By 9 thousandths of a second! Viper just shy of pole position. Grand J10, 3 seconds nearly off. And that's going to set things up really interesting. He's actually binned it in the chicane! And that's a very interesting place to spin the car around. He's actually done a full pirouette under throttle and got the car. That was Grand J10 in the chicane. The most beautiful and satisfying pirouette I've ever seen. Palmer's going to slow it up, and James Head going to get the pole position. Where is Tice? Actually, Doug Barrow is just not that far ahead. I think Doug...
my apologies.
You're fine. I think Doug is just going to be off. Going to go tank a tighter line, and he's just short. Tice, on the other hand, will extend that pole position by 0.5 of a second. Hairraiser and Barr. Hairraiser nearly on the green stuff there at 130R. He's really trying to push that 69. And he's really trying here thus far, late in the session here. So I think it's going to be a close session for him. He's not going to tank it right, which I think he should do, but he's going to improve, not by much. Improvements from both guys, Barr 27 and Hairraiser, but no improvements in terms of position. Ty split the pole position in GT3, or GT4 I should say, excuse me. But James, by 43 thousandths of a second between Tice and Doug Barrow. But in GT3, it will be James Head, who I believe will take his first pole position of the season by 9 thousandths of a second over Viper. Let's take a quick look at the sector times that we got going here real quickly as well. Really good sector times throughout the board. And James had a great purple sector 3 on that final lap. And that's going to set things up really interesting here for this race. And I think it's going to be a really interesting one here going forward into this race, Elliot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm leading the front 2 round now as we speak, but I am hoping that we've got a good race in store here. I'd like to see what James does against Viper, because both are quite quick. Don't get me wrong, both drivers are quick, but they just lack the consistency of grip. Now, of course, we'll see what happens.
Now, is that up to the driver, the car, maybe the course, and the day and time settings? Who knows? It's a whole bunch of variables, but all about to slide now. It's time for 60 minutes of action at Suzuka. James 10 Viper on the front row. Grand J10 and SLM Palmer round up the GT3 grid. In GT4, it's Ty Stuck Barrow on the third row with Hairraiser and Barr in the back of the grid. 8 cars for today. Unfortunately, a bit lower than we would like to see, but like we said in past SLM seasons, the action is far from over from concluding. And so now Elliott now going to pick up the field for the start of this race. Now the outlap, the one measly pace lap. I just want to make sure my replay is working. So it is working, which is good. All right, so my replay is working just fine. Elliott now going to pick up the 8 Ferraris that will circle this Suzuka circuit, home of the Suzuka Endurance Classic, with the traditional and long-lasting Suzuka 1,000 kilometers, and now the Intercontinental GT Challenge. Suzuka 10 hours now, basically. Suzuka has a lot of heritage to it. I think it's going to add here today with the Ferrari GT World Challenge, 666 brake horsepower for the GT3s, but 347 out of the GT4s. And so the pressure now is starting to build, but you got to build the confidence in the cockpits, of course, and you got to get ready here for an aggressive race here today at the Suzuka circuit. James Head will line up on the right-hand side to turn number 1, and Viper will line up alongside him on the left. So James Head will have that inside line advantage. Then it's going to be Grand J10 in 3rd place, right behind James, and then Palmer will line up just behind the number 82 of Viper in the 24 Ferrari. In GT4, it is going to be Tice, who's actually made contact with someone already, which is quite an interesting thing. So I'm not sure what's happened to the 78, which is the lone Slimax Ferrari right now in the GT4 class. But he's got 3 Winding Road Racing guys who are going to be absolutely hungry here today for some good race results, with Doug Barrow leading the charge for Winding Road Racing, with his teammate Hairraiser and his other teammate Barr behind as well. And you can just see, like, all in the back there, 3 white Ferraris from the rear end right there. And so now the pace car going to lead away for the start of the race. And so now it's going to be very, very interesting to see here how James will go about for this race start. Double filing now before the chicane. Go on board now with the number 24 of SLM Palmer for this race start. Of course, got to make it through the chicane first. The safety car dips into the pits. Oh, bit of contact, I think, on that, but I could be wrong. And so when will they fly out and about now? It's going to be close to green flag racing here today, and James will put down the power now. And so now Viper quickly up to the inside behind the 7 of James Head. It's going to move to the outside, trying to make something work right there. Oh, side by side, but that was never going to work. Viper, he's actually gone wide. Oh, but he somehow saved it.
Outside, yeah.
Good save for Viper. He was really on the jagged edge of grip. One more time for you. Very good car control right there. He was pretty lucky to escape that one pretty unharmed. Palmer making quick work at Grand J10 for 3rd place, but now it's going to be all forward from here for the number 24 of Palmer. James Head getting away quite nicely. It's about a 1 second gap between himself and the number 82 Ferrari. In the GT4 class, it's still Tice that leads the way. Hairraiser getting the better of Doug Barrow, and Bar 27 will be at the back of the field for today. Oh, and Grand J10, hard in the wall for Grand J10.
Did he hit the wall? I thought he just went wide.
I think he might have. Take a look at that again.
I can't see any damage, but...
Oh, just a lot of momentum going into that corner. He's actually just clipped the wall with his right-hand side of his car. The gap now for the lead now about half a second. So Viper's been really trying to use his ability to make great race starts.
Palmer's on his tail, Viper's sideways.
Oh, really, really sideways out of spoon for the number 82 of Viper. He's really, really trying here to get his first win of the season here. Oh, he's gone wide, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Yeah, very wide.
Oh, Palmer on the inside.
Oh, he's going to back out of that one.
He was looking, but nothing new in there just yet. Palmer now really going to be on the back bumper of the number 82. Does the 82 go to the inside to defend? He's going to try. He's actually in the slipstream of the number 7, so I don't think he actually is going to defend. Oh, Palmer really aggressive on the Ferrari with that Ferrari. Holy moly, moly.
We've seen from our Mazda Championship last year that a move on the outside can be done.
It can be done, yes, but I think your car has to have better cornering capability,
better grip than these,
and better grip,
definitely.
yeah, around the outside. If you and plus, if you're feeling brave as well, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And this is a great.
We've got Ty Harris, Doug and Barr running around at the back.
Yeah, Ty's doing a good job in 5th overall, just leading that gap now to the Winding Road guys. Of course, the only Max car in the GT4 class because of the absence of Keelan. That's going to blow the championship up wide open.
Sideways. They're all sideways through Degner 2. Top 3.
Now to the hairpin now. Oh, and it looked like it was going to be bumper cars for a second, New York City style. Oh man, I thought we were going to have some form of a collision right there. Nothing doing there just yet. James had doing a great job at keeping the lead, keeping it calm, and keeping it cool under the pressure. And of course, Viper doing the same, as well as Viper. These cars are not easy to drive in any shape or form as well, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this race will come to a close. Of course, Viper, look at the amount of fuel that he saved compared to James had, and that's pretty much just because of the fact that he's in slipstream right now. 1, 2, 3 into 130R. Much cleaner for Viper that time. He does keep it within the racing surface. Oh, he's going to the inside to try and make a move.
Yeah,
James has got the inside.
The outside.
Oh, he's actually tapped him wide. And
yeah,
wow, Viper thought he could try and make
racing.
Viper thought he could try and make the move stick at the chicane, but I think instead of trying to gain a place, he did get tapped a bit wide, and I think he did just end up losing a spot rather than trying to gain one. So now Viper now pretty much on the back foot. If he can
I've just noticed that Viper is running a different livery to last week.
Yeah, he is.
Gone back to the black.
He's gone to something different, I believe, for the Japan-only races here today. I think if Viper can look out, save a bit of fuel in this stint, and kind of get himself ready for the other stints.
Yeah, I think the key for Palmer and James in this race is to keep it on the track.
Yeah, Viper does have the pace. I did speak with him a little bit before the start of this race.
Past Hair Razor.
Has he now? Oh, yes, you're right. I didn't even catch that. But yeah, going back to what Viper said, this is one of the tracks that he would really would like to win if he could, because he knows he's very
most competitive.
Yeah, he's most competitive. He's very well aligned to it. He got a Suzuka 1,000 kilometer win here in the GT300 class. He actually took the car that he drove to victory lane for that race. Oh, and they're going to play antsy. And they're going to play a little bit antsy up front. I think Palmer had to back out of that one. Oh, James has gone wide! And he's gone
insanely wide.
And I think he's just hit the green stuff, unfortunately. And I think...
Hair Razor and Doug contact in the hairpin. Hair Razor's round.
Has he now?
Half round. He had a half spin there and Bar's gone through. So there's contact between the two Winding Road guys.
Take a look at that once again.
Round J to N wide.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, wow.
And Palmer's in the lead.
Palmer in the lead. Oh, he's actually been tapped a bit wide by Viper. So much for qualifying a dead last in last place in your class, just to get the race lead after about 3 laps.
Yeah, with 4 cars in class, it's...
Whoa. Oh, I'll tell you what though.
To the outside goes Viper.
Ain't gonna be. Oh, he's gonna try the inside.
Oh, come on.
Oh, he's forced him up a bit wide.
Where's James? James on the inside. James has got passed again.
Every freaking time I try to pass, it's always someone just forcing me off wide. Seriously. Like, come on.
And a bit of driver aggression.
Every freaking time.
And a bit of...
in fact, Palmer's let him back through. Which is interesting because he did try and move around the outside, and he did just wash wide. There was no contact there from what I saw. I don't know if you can catch it on the replay now, but it didn't look like there was any contact between the two of them.
I'll
it just
see if
looked
I
like
can
a move that was never going to
Nah. Yeah, I don't think I'm able to get a replay, unfortunately, of that incident. But I think... I'm not too sure right there.
It didn't look like there was contact. It just looked to me as though he just tried to move on the outside that was It just never works around there.
Oh, bit of contact between James and Viper out midway through the hairpin. But pretty much that instance pretty much just resets everything from square one, and you thought the action was, lo and behold, gone, but that's just not the case as of this race as of yet. This is a lot of action going on throughout the GT3 class. And I think the GT4s, I'm looking at it on the mini-map now, they do look a bit more spread out than do the GT3s at the moment. Actually, I think Grand J10, has he fallen back so far back? Yeah, he's fallen back right with the GT4s. So James Head leads the way with about 10 minutes elapsed from
Tice is disconnected. Tice, that's a disconnect from Tice by the looks of things.
No way! Wow!
Yep, there he goes.
Viper to the lead!
Rejoins...
Viper to the lead!
It's just kicked me back to the battle of the GT3. Now we know for a fact now that that's got nothing to do with my network, the disconnect from Tice there.
Oh, he actually went a bit too deep. James had actually went a bit too deep into the hairpin.
I have now got a Wi-Fi booster giving me almost 10 times more connection speed than I was getting, so...
And you know how I said that this is going to blow the championship wide open? With that disconnect right there, that's even going to blow the championship even more wide open, because pretty much
it's
now...
It's going to take it into the last race. Someone's round in front. It's Grand J10. Grand J10's off at 130 at the exit at 130R.
Hey,
GT4s are on him now.
Yeah, pretty much the winding road guys could pretty much just relax at this rate, because now...
Yeah. It's a battle for the podium for them. But yeah, it's good for the championship wide open.
And keep in mind, get this, for the GT4 guys, it has been Keelan, Tice, and the retired K&K Dot, who have all won races. Not a single winding road racing car has won at least once this season. So very, very interesting development right here. Oh, Palmer on the inside at the hairpin right there. Very well done for Palmer, but I don't think James has done just quite yet, because he's really, really right up his chuck. Palmer doing a good job giving it the space. He's just alongside, but I think he's going to try and back out. Yeah, Palmer doing the wise thing and backing out of that one as well. So pretty much at this rate, I think Doug Barrow, if he's going to win this race, he has a very, very good opportunity at trying to get back into this championship, because right now, I'm looking at the points.
How far behind Tice was in?
It takes the win right now with the fastest lap of the race. Put him 26 points. Keeping at 172 compared to 177 for Tice, basically.
Wow, it put him... Wow. Okay, so that would put him third third overall. He wouldn't be able to...
Oh, James has gone off! James has gone off!
Whoa. What a weird place to lose it.
Did he just have a crack of understeer? On board with the driver. Oh, yeah. He had a crack. He had a slight kick of oversteer. Had to overcorrect it just slightly, and that still sent him wide off, and I think he washed right off the course, unfortunately.
Certainly is a shame. Question is, it's through.
Elliot, you're lagging just a tad bit.
Sorry, that's controller location, nothing to do with the network. Yeah, Palmer's now on the back of Viper, but we're down to 7 cars now in this race.
And here's the really interesting thing. If you're Viper right now out in front just about a tad bit of a second, start fuel saving. Start getting some fresh, start getting ready for these seconds. Oh, big sideways moment for Palmer. I don't know how in the world he saved that one.
Grand J10's in. Grand J10 into the pit lane. Very early stop. Is he going onto the mediums, do you think?
Oh my goodness me, Palmer, I don't know how you saved that, man, but what a save that was. Grand J10 back out of the pits.
On softs.
On softs, indeed, yeah. Palmer doing a good job keeping...
Running through to see the mileage that people have done in these cars, and...
Oh, big moment for Viper, but that's going to... On a corner like this, on a section of the track like this is going to really open up and close the gap now from Palmer to Viper. Palmer going to strategically...
going back to what I was saying there, it was looking at the mileage on the cars throughout. We've got Viper on 1729 miles completed in this car, 1827 for Palmer, 1435 for James. Doug's done 33 3,368 miles.
Palmer going to try, and he's found a gap. James is going to pit this time by. I think he's going to commit to the 3-stop. Side by side, going to turn
again.
1 once again. Well held from Viper. Well held that time.
I really did want to stop in the wall there, so I kind of had to like let out, so I wouldn't put him anywhere.
Had to let out, but of course, good defending work from Viper. I mean, imagine with how worn those tires are that he is going to pit this time by. Is Palmer going to try?
James is back out.
Yeah, James is back on out, but about 24 seconds or so. But he took a big chunk of fuel on that stop. Viper with a bit more fuel in the tank than Palmer is, obviously. And so I think if Viper can try and really keep the pace that he's going right now, and consistency, if he can keep it going as it is right now, and keep the Cymax crew behind, he would do himself very, very well. In the meanwhile, Palmer now, I thought he was going to look down to the inside of the hairpin, but I think he was just trying to take it easy as well. Unless Palmer is going to try and stay behind the fuel save just a tad bit. He's actually, I believe, on the inside? Not quite yet for the 24.
I do wonder if he's fuel saving here. Let's have a look. He's not. Viper might be fuel saving though, because look at the fuel difference.
I think that's just Viper on how he's naturally able to save fuel and be quick at the same time.
Look at the tyres. He's taking more out of the tyres though.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. I think he's actually getting a bump draft. A bit of help from Palmer as well. On the inside, Palmer going.
No.
And it looked like. And I think we're going to see pit stops for the 2 cars up in front, and they're both going to come in.
I missed that.
And I think Viper got a little bit of help going into the pits.
Yeah, but except I didn't hit anything. That's the thing.
So the 2 leaders coming
in the GT4s. Got Grand J10 approaching the GT4s now. The only 3 left are the Winding Road Racing guys. Is Bar going to be able to get back ahead of Hair Razor? And is Grand J10 going to be able to get past them as well safely? He goes to the outside. He's going all the way around the outside of the GT4s, and he's got it done. Jumps back across in front of the GT4s.
Oh, bit of contact! Bit of contact from Bar27 and Hair Razor. You don't have to pretty much fight for a position at this rate. You pretty much just take the race result and go. Obviously, I don't think the Winding Road guy. Bar with a slight dose of lag from Bar. Got to be a bit careful about that. Grand J10 now back up past the GT4s. He goes wide. Is he going to stop in time is the question. Yeah, he will stop. He did pit on lap 5. Viper now, 3.2 seconds to the lead over Palmer.
Here we go. I was giving Hair Razor the bump draft against the pit wall. Hair Razor's going to hold the inside. Slight contact there. Bar around the outside. He's got it done. Bar just went around the outside of Hair Razor into turn 1.
But he's got a penalty, of course, which obviously you don't want to have happen.
Yeah.
So he will have to serve that penalty more than likely.
I am surprised that James has come out behind Viper and Palmer by 5 and between 5 and 8 seconds there. I didn't think he lost that much time when he went wide.
Viper took less fuel than Palmer did on that stop, probably. I think that might be the reason why you're seeing things.
And James would have taken more fuel as well than both of them, because he's done what, a lap longer, and
possibly
or 2 laps longer, and he's now matching the same fuel load as Palmer, so he would have taken in much more.
Yeah, did James take less fuel? He is having some fast laps.
No, James took more fuel. James would have taken more fuel.
Oh, did he now? Okay, so that's a bit interesting, I believe.
But yeah, we've got 156s coming in now.
So 156 is now for the leaders. 154s for the outlabs for the leaders overall. Of course, Viper now with a 2/10 advantage over James Head's fastest lap. So I assume he is going to want to try and get those 26 points if possible.
Yeah, Bar's still hanging on in there.
Yeah, Bar's going to try and do whatever he can to See if he can, because Barr right now I believe is guaranteed podium. Everyone on the GT4 class is guaranteed a podium in some shape or fashion, obviously. Right, and so take a moment now to look down the field. Viper's still leading them off. Palmer now about 2.6 seconds behind. I don't think he's slowly but surely gaining, clearly, but I can't be for certain that that Palmer's gaining that much on Palmer. On Viper, I should say.
Last lap. This time last lap was 3.8, is now 2.5, so he's getting 1.3.
So that is
I don't know about... Yeah, James is losing time as well. He's lost a second to both in front. So
Palmer might be the fastest guy on track right now in the GT3 class at the moment. What about the GT4 class at the moment? I think Doug still leading the class by a large margin, 3 seconds to good over bar 27. Viper now with that fastest lap, but quickly eclipsed by Palmer, 55.9. So yeah, it's about a 7/10 difference between Viper and Palmer that last lap.
Yeah, and James's last lap was a 57.1, so 2.2 seconds slower.
Oh, Viper
no, sorry, 1.2 seconds.
Viper going a bit wide on the curbing.
Yeah, Viper was 7/10, sorry, slower than Palmer on that lap.
So I'm very inclined.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm going to be very, very inclined to see how things will shape out, because this is something that we haven't seen from Viper in a lot of these races, obviously. Of course, he's very, very quick in that car. We get that. But I feel like instead of him being more aggressive with the fuel, he's more aggressive with the tires. So he runs through that tire quicker, and then in turn, which it makes him more prone and likely to have a big incident, which will then cost him valuable time, of course, and you don't want that to happen, of course.
Yeah, gap's down to 1.7 now, so it's another second that Palmer's eating out of Viper's time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be very, very intrigued to see how will this play out.
GT4 race leaders in.
Yeah, so bar 27 gonna be all by himself, as Doug Barrow and Hellraiser will come in for some fresh
identical fuel loads and tyres. Actually, both have got identical tyre and fuel use, but Hellraiser is.
I think it's gonna fill up. Is it gonna fill up to the end? Actually, to be fair, he did come in a bit later, I believe.
There's no way. You've got to get to at least 50% of the race to be able to take on another load of fuel. So they had another 6 minutes before they could take it in.
So two-stop more likely for the GT4s.
Barr can hang on in there for 6 or 7 seconds and pit in at 30 minutes. He'll be able to take one more fuel load and go to the end. But he is lagging. I don't think he'll make it to the end, you know. He is lagging a lot.
Actually, as a matter of fact, we are going to have some interesting things here, because the GT3s now are coming up to the GT4, so blue flags going to be waved soon for these GT3 cars.
Yeah, the question is that the GT4 is going to lose out some time.
I don't think it's a question of whether the GT4s will lose time, because, like I said, it is all winding road racing cars.
Hellraiser's got the blue flags. Hellraiser does have the blue flags,
yeah,
but
like I said, I think it's just the winding road racing guys. I don't think they have much to worry about. It's more going to be more concerned about how will the GT3s be affected for this race, because you've got Viper and Palmer who are pretty much still in a neck-to-neck, head-to-head race here thus far.
Yeah, Viper around the outside to get the move done, nice and easy.
Very well done for our race leader.
Palmer's going to catch him on the straight as well, so Palmer's going to get past him even quicker.
Yeah, he's not going to lose too much time, which is good. And so now James Head, I believe, is at Spoon. So how can he benefit more?
He's off at Spoon. He's off at Spoon and he's hit the barrier. And he's continued. He was off, hit the barrier, and has continued.
Has he now?
Yeah.
On board now with the 7th. Did he go a bit wide? Oh, he did. And, oh, he actually caught a bit of air. I have zero idea how he got away with that unscathed.
Oh, now Viper's going to catch Doug here at probably the worst possible moment into turn 1.
He's got to get him by pretty quickly, though. He cannot be escaped behind. He's going to have him before the corner.
He needs to pass him very safely here, does Viper. Doug is entitled to the racing line.
This is what you not want to have happen if you're the GT3 leader. He's actually going to get stuck behind him. Oh,
Doug is entitled to the racing line. Viper has got to try and find a way past safely. And he's got past.
And Palmer, I think, is going to get held up just a tad bit as well. Actually, Palmer getting the better of that. Yep. And now this is pretty much just cost Viper a load of time right now.
Yeah, and he's used more tyre as well. Again, with the tyre situation on Viper. Oi! Very sideways coming out of Degner 2 again. As Palmer's on the back, he's having a sniff to the inside, nothing doing.
And this is like part 2 essentially here for these guys before
James is now 10 seconds off Palmer.
Has he lost more time
really again? Yeah, he's really struggling, is James.
And he's just about to hit the number 69 of Hair Razor. He's going to get by the 69, I believe, very, very easily indeed.
Yeah, but is he going to keep it on the road this time? Slightly wider.
He is slightly wide. Does keep it in check. Yeah. Oh, going back to the front. Palmer now right up on the back chuff of Viper.
He's going to look to the inside here.
Nope, he's going to hang back. I can see what Palmer's doing. I think he's trying to take this conservative approach and trying to stick behind Viper, because is he going to try the fuel save strategy? Of course. Viper has used a bit of fuel, and I think Viper is committed to that 3-star. Oh, this is going to set things up very interesting, side by side.
Yeah, Palmer was very smart to back out of that with the traffic ahead of Barr. Barr's still going. Barr's still going.
He's still going. He's going to let out of the way for these guys. Viper actually, Palmer.
Yeah.
Now Palmer's going to get stuck behind the 27. Oh, yeah. Palmer, I think, was just a hit a bit wide. And this is not what you want if you're Palmer, to get stuck behind the GT4 class in the S's section. That's one of the worst places to get caught up behind traffic. And Palmer's just lost about
1 car left.
He's lost about 5/10 to a whole second.
No, only 3/10.
Well, he's quickly gaining it back now.
Well, yeah, he will do with Viper making mistakes like that. The next car to pass will be Grand J10.
Oh, will it now? Oh, wow.
So
and he's right there.
Not on a GT3 podium.
Is Bart going to try the one-stop strategy here?
Barr has got the one-stop in hand if he pits on this lap. He can pit this lap.
He's got fuel, so I think he can go a bit more. Of course, he's going to be 9 seconds ahead of Doug Barrow. He is losing time slightly. But I think if he can take that fuel up.
If he pits this lap, take a full tank of fuel, he'll get to the, or take the maximum load. Oh no, wait, hang on, my time's... Sorry, no, he's got 1 more lap to go. He can take a full tank of fuel, but he's lost a second. He lost exactly 1 second there to Doug, actually.
Oh, Palmer looking into the inside once again. He's really trying to apply that pressure to the race leader. Grand J10 actually into the pits. Oh,
sideways.
Oh my goodness me. That's a very
Grand
easy...
J10's actually in to prevent the lapping there.
The blue flag scenario, yeah, good move for Grand J10.
Well, what's Palmer going to do? He's going to sit in behind for now. Turn 1 is one of those. James is in as well.
So James...
corners where you can get an overtake done, but you don't want to.
So James is going to try the 3-stop strategy here today. And I'm really inclined to see how this is going to work out for the number 7 Ferrari. Of course, on the back foot, he did get that. He did get the pole position as well, so he does have the pace. So that's going to be pretty interesting as well. Bar 27 actually just ahead of Grand J10, and I think if he could pit this time by, he could make this 3-stop strategy work. Of course. Viper and Palmer still duking it out for the race lead. Where is Doug Barrow compared to Hairraiser? Doug Barrow, of course, a little ways back. Hairraiser, I think has he had a moment of some sort? Has he had a moment? I can't tell. Something's happened to Doug Barrow. I'm not sure what it is, but I think he's had a moment somewhere. Oh, big moment between the 82 and the 24. All the 24 can really do is just sit back and wait. Very antsy on the throttle is the 24. Of course, the 24, I do believe, will have more fuel going into this second stint, or to the third stint, I should say. Coming to the pits this time by, yes, he will. Oh, Palmer is going to stay out. He is released for some fresh air. He's going to try and go a bit longer on this stint. Viper into the pit for his second stop of the day. Doing a good job at leading from the first and the second stint.
Yeah, I think Palmer what's his fuel situation like? Yeah, so Palmer will get the undercut. He will. James has come out, he's made easy work of Hairraiser. Doug's retaken with Bar in the pit lane. So Bar's on that one stop. And if he can come out with good time, he may jump Doug in the next pit stop window. But he needs to come out now.
Bar at 27, I think he's going to try and go for the full tank of fuel.
How far behind Doug has he come out? Let's have a look. 16 seconds, 18 seconds. Just keep an eye on that. 19 seconds.
20-ish or so, I think.
19 and a half seconds he's come out behind Doug. Doug's now on less fuel, but his tyres are wearing. So Doug really needs to come in now to have any chance of getting out ahead of Bar. Bar may not be quick enough though to challenge Doug, but he's definitely in a good position to challenge Hairraiser. But if Doug wants to cover off the undercut from Bar, Doug needs to come in now for fresh tyres.
Well, Bar's going to try. Bar's going to try the one stop, I believe. So I think.
Yeah, that's my point. So I'm thinking it's about a 20-second pit stop window, right?
Yes.
A bit pit stop time lost. So looking at the gap between Bar and Doug, it's 19 seconds currently. So with that being 19 seconds, if Doug was to come in now, get a fresh set of tyres, because we know that Hairraiser and Doug are both going to need to pit. If Doug comes in now, gets a fresh set of tyres, takes full fuel, he will easily beat Bar because he'll have more tyre towards the end of the race.
Race leader
so yeah,
into
I think
the
they
pits.
need to come in now.
Race
I think
leader
they need to come in now. The GT4 top 2.
Race leader Palmer into the pits. Viper, I do believe, is going to beat him out just slightly. He's actually going to come out right now. And there goes Viper now, well and truly ahead of himself. Viper actually taking far less fuel than the 24. So this is very interesting here. Look at how much
that's
fuel.
not going to get him to the end. It's not
No,
going to get him to the end.
Gonna, no, he's Viper's committed to a 3-stop. I think that's the prime strategy for these GT3s.
All three of the podium sitters in GT3, as James has a slight moment there into turn 1. They're all committed to the 3-stop.
Yeah, and I think Grand J10, I think, is just doing his own thing right about now. I'm pretty sure. Of course, he didn't get the overlap on the main GT3.
No, he's on a 4-stop. Grand J10's already stopped twice. He's on a 4-stop strategy.
For a 60-minute race, that's a very interesting strategy, of course, for 12-minute stints.
Or is he on a 3? He's on a weird 3, actually. Oh, he's gone wide, though. Just kept it out of the barrier.
Just kept it out of the barrier, of course, so...
Just kept it out of the barrier. So, I mean, Bar's just losing time to Doug now. I think that gap is below.
Actually, look at the penalties that Doug Barrow has. Has he been doing a couple of track limits cuts?
He's had that for ages. I can't even think of where you could pick that up because it's very difficult to cut any of these corners. Unless he's
been cutting track limits and he's been trying to serve it. Unless he just keeps getting it. I'm not sure what the game plan is for the number 13. Although he is gaining time somewhat on Hairraiser at the moment, so I'm not sure what the strategy Hairraiser is on. But I am very curious to see how this is going to play out for a lot of these guys.
Interestingly, though, but I missed this in the Discord. But Tyson's message saying that if just take a look at the points difference between Tyson Keelan.
Yeah, I know. It's 26 points.
Is it? What the actual gap is? Ah, yeah.
Yeah, 26 points.
Question is, who's got the most wins? Because that's going to decide the championship at the next race.
Keelan.
In fact, no, because Tice does get a participation point because he did a 10 tonight, didn't he?
Oh, you're right.
So he will get the 1 point for participating.
So you think that might make a huge difference?
Yeah, yeah.
That's if he can get that bonus point for the fastest lap and the race win next week.
Yeah, so
that's a big
really
if.
It's Doug's the only one really next week that can take it from him.
It really could. I think, as of right now, Doug Barrow is really going to be coasting his way to a win unless that one stop from Barr is going to work. But I think the GT4 is kind of, settled right now because Doug Barrow is doing a very, very fine job. I do believe he will have to come in for a second stop.
Yeah, Doug does need to. Doug has to. Right. What's the gap? Let's have a look. So it's 11.2 to Hairraiser.
I think it's like 18, no more than 20 seconds between all three of those guys. I'm pretty sure.
It's within 20 seconds. The gap between Barr and Doug is within 20 seconds. So if Doug pits now, he may come out behind Barr.
Well, Bar 27 also has a 1.5 second penalty as well, so curveballs to the mix here today.
Both rounds up to...
The gap now really closing down between Viper and Palmer. Now it's just under a second compared to the 3-second gap that we once had just before we went back to these two. Like I said, all of a sudden, this gap now between those two, just under a second, or just at a second. Not over a second, I should say. Take you on board now with the 24, who's really on a charge right now to try and get back for the race lead against the number 82, who has done incredibly well to keep the pace up in that Ferrari.
Let's have a look. So I'm just watching the gap. I go on board with Hairraiser just so I can look at the left-hand side and the standings tower and see. So the gap is now exactly 18 seconds. Exactly 18 seconds between Doug and Barr. So. But Barr's going to the end. We said that Barr's now going to the end, didn't we?
Yes.
So in fact, no, Doug will come out on fresher tyres, but a higher fuel load. But because he's got the fresher tyres.
Rubber tires. Or very pressure tires. God, my English stuff. Oh, Viper a bit wide out of 130R.
Well, yeah, look, Palmer's on the back of him. I've missed this battle. I've been focusing on the GT4s.
Yeah, Palmer's been really trying to claw back up at the moment.
Both should need to stop again.
Yeah, we said that these guys will be committing to a 3-stop strategy. Viper is on 1 lap older tires than the 24 of
less
Palmer.
Fuel.
Fuel. That's a different story. Look at the fuel difference. It's about an 1/8 of a tank difference. Just under for these guys at least. That's a 12% fuel difference. So Viper, I believe, is trying to bank on the fact that if he can take less fuel than Palmer, because we do know that Viper can save fuel on these stints more than Palmer can.
Right.
What do you mean? Okay.
See, this is kind of the thing. We don't usually expect this driving style from Palmer, to be quite honest with you, because normally he's a bit more aggressive. Today, he's just taking it a bit more patient today behind the 82. Oh, never mind, I say that. Contact. I say that right around the inside goes the number 24. Hairraiser into the pits.
Still side by side.
Side by side. Gonna give him the room, just clears him, but I think he's just had to cut him off just like that, just to try and keep the position. Hairraiser now gonna go back to the back of the grid, and I think he's gonna try and make the second and final stop work here today.
Yeah, should be a stint to the end now, so that's the 2-stop done for Hairraiser.
It is.
He should be able to go to the end, but I'm not certain about that fuel load now, actually. He might have to fuel save. But the penalties between Doug and Barr are equal. Doug needs to come in. Oh, it's gone back up to 20 seconds, though, as the gap between Barr and Doug, so he should be okay. He will be okay, in fact.
Well, we know Barr for a fact is going to try and push to the end on that one stop. Well, meanwhile, right at the end, of course, Palmer's trying to really push to get by the number 24, defending onto the inside.
The outside. Yeah.
Oh, Palmer tried looking.
He looked for the switch back there. It was close.
He did, yeah, but it was not going to work for him. Grand G10 into the pits for another pit stop. Is that his third stop of the day? I'm pretty sure. Has he gone longer than these guys on that stint right there? I think. Oh, big moment again for the number 82. Just really trying to wrestle that car and keep it in a straight line, so he can keep the 24 from getting on by. Oh,
he should get the better drive out of here, should Palmer. TJ needs to go to the inside.
He kind of held it in the middle of the road. Kind of learned that mistake from the last time by. Doug Barrow into the pits.
Yeah, where's
Take
Barr?
a moment too.
Barr's coming through 130R.
We'll take a moment. Yeah, Barr's coming through 130R. He's actually, depending on the amount of fuel that Doug Barrow will take on this stop, will Barr get that lead with the one stop? Keep an eye on that for me. Palmer's actually through. Palmer's actually through for the race lead.
Oh, Grand J10's off. The first Degner. That was a high-speed one as well.
Side by side towards 130R. You love to see it. Oh, Viper getting the better muscle.
Yeah, try and catch that on the replay though. Grand J10 had a high speed off at Degner 1. I know there is a battle going on here though.
Oh, yeah. Let me see.
Come on.
We'll take a look at it again. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's a big one for Grand J10.
High speed. He kept it out of the wall, but it was high speed.
Palmer backed up to the race lead. Palmer up to the race lead. Let's see what happened here. Inside of the chicane. Oh, and a bit of argy-bargy to go with that as well. Definitely not favoring Viper in any way, because this is now where Palmer is going to be very, very aggressive in this part of the stint right now.
This should be where Palmer pulls away. I'm just going to check that. Barr did get out. Doug did get out behind Barr, and Hairraiser is running around with. He's struggling a bit as Hairraiser, but Doug is out behind Barr.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be that far on out. Of course, Barr 27 leading his class, but he's not that far off from Doug, which is going to be interesting. Hairraiser.
Yeah, Palmer is now starting to stretch his legs.
Hairraiser now a bit of ways back. Palmer now opening that up to 1.4 seconds, and I think this is where we're starting to see that Palmer is going to open up that 24 Ferrari just a tad bit and slowly pull on away. He does not make a lot of mistakes, does Palmer. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how can Viper nail this final strategy here, or final stint, I should say. Ooh, Palmer just a tad bit wide, nothing too sophisticated, but I think we're going to start to see a little lockup from the number 82 during braking. Oh, Viper a bit sideways there. He can't get too offline.
Traffic ahead.
Traffic is a bit ahead. So I think, are we going to see a bit of a rough and tumble shakeup with the 69 of Hairraiser going to be taking things into consideration for a little bit. But I think these guys...
Fastest lap in the GT4s is Doug so far with a 2:07.3 versus Bar 2:07.7. Hairraiser on a 2:08.2.
Okay, so not that far off pace, I should say. The gap now for the GT3 is now opened up to 2 seconds. Oh, Viper, I don't even know how you didn't even go wide into the gravel trap there. Of course, these guys gonna have to come into the pits soon. Palmer now just about to get up to the number 69 of Hairraiser. And so now how will Palmer...
Wow.
Palmer's actually going to have his work cut out for him, of course.
Ooh, down the inside of Hairraiser, move done, but he's gained another second on Viper, who will be in this lap. Viper will be in this lap.
Yeah, I think Palmer can go a little bit more on this current stint. Oh!
It's not going to help.
Saw that right. Goosebumps down your spine.
Up to 2.8 seconds, so Palmer's just kind of running away with this now.
Okay. Thank goodness me. Viper actually did that overlap at 130R, which is very, very bizarre.
Doug's on the back of Bar now, though, in the battle for the lead of the GT4s. Bar
Viper
on that different strategy, but Viper is in.
Yep. Analyzing Viper for this final pit stop now.
Yeah, he just needs to take a full tank of fuel. Full tank of fuel should see him to the end.
I don't think so. He could take a little less fuel than half a tank, I'm pretty sure. I think.
I'm not sure.
Or if not, just about 60 to 65 liters, I'm thinking. And we got 59, right where I thought was going to be the case. James had in this time by from third place. I think he's going to try and match Viper on pure strategy than pure pace.
Doug and Bar right together now, nose to tail, into Degner 1.
And so now this is the big question right over Bar's head.
Degner 2.
Oh,
lagging again. Oh, side by side coming up the hill. They have got a faster car behind them.
Bar's
Contact.
been tapped wide. Bar's been tapped wide. He's gonna get
Doug's
that.
coming. Oh,
Palmer gonna get the easy overlap. Yeah. Well done. Oh, Palmer almost had an incident of himself on that camera shot as well. Oh, I wasn't able to get it. Oh, that sucks. I wasn't able to get a replay of that, but I guess I did get that on stream as well, which is quite nice. But good sportsmanship from Doug Barrow to get that position on by. I think he kind of forced the issue. Bar's trying to turn in for the corner. I think Doug wasn't expecting him, so I think instead just forced Bar to go a little bit wide.
Bar's effectively on a medium tyre at this stage. The soft layer has been rubbed off these soft tyres, so he is now essentially on a medium tyre, is Bar.
Oh, Doug a bit wide. Out of
that may be where they're picking up penalties. That may be where they're picking up penalties, is going wide there. He hasn't picked one up, and also probably at the chicane as well, but he hasn't picked up one there, so perhaps not. I can't work out where they've been picking up these penalties. I can only assume it is the final chicane.
I don't think a penalty is worth it, because I don't think if you run wide there, I think you lose more time.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would make sense to put a time penalty on top of you losing time. So
well, it is in-game penalties, and they don't really make much sense anyway, but yeah.
Palmer lost about 2 seconds on that incident, so I think Viper now is slowly catching Palmer, so not all is lost for the number 82 of Viper. But with about
10 minutes to go.
Yeah, 10 minutes to go. Palmer can take less fuel than he would on a... Palmer's done 20 minutes on this stint. Very well done for Palmer to hold it off and keep it going as long as you can. Right, and so...
So yeah, in the so with the championship in GT4, Keelan's 25 points after this race, 25 points ahead of Tice. So Tice will need the race win and fastest lap at the final race to secure the championship by 1 single point.
But the interesting thing is, if he doesn't get that championship point, bonus fastest lap point, but he does get the win, they'll tie on race wins and the championship.
And then
they'll go down to second place finish.
Go down.
Second place finishes.
I'm going to check the standings. How many race wins have they had each?
Palmer into the pits. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Palmer into the pits with about 3 liters of fuel.
Yeah, Keelan's had 5 wins. Keelan has had 5 wins, and no, wait, hang on. It'll go to an absolute dead heat because Keelan can't attend the next 2 races. He's got 5 wins. If Tice wins at Fuji with the fastest lap, they will be dead equal on points, dead equal on race wins. It will go down to second places, which
Palmer coming out of the pits well ahead
will be a draw as well.
Yeah, he is, but he's going to be stuck behind, I believe, the 13. Oh, he's actually going to get caught behind him into the S's, so this is going to change things up quite drastically. All Palmer can do is just sit and wait.
He's not going to get him around the outside here, but Doug's in action and watch why. Palmer backs off. He's gone down the inside. Yeah, who's he got in front of him? Is that Bar in front of him? Yeah, so Viper's actually going to lose out here
because
right Bar is the more difficult part to get past.
He didn't lose that much time, Viper did, but he's just lost time out. He has gained a fair bit. And so now
Has he just come into the pits? Has Viper to the pits?
Yeah, he just came to the pit. Yeah, he just did. He did come into the pits. I just said, I caught that.
Wait, so hang on. Who just came into the pits? Palmer or Viper?
Palmer.
Makes sense.
Palmer.
Makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, I think Palmer's going to run away with this one as well, to be honest. And does that mean that he's going to take the championship with this as well?
I think he's clinched it already. I'm pretty sure. I think he's already clinched it.
It was, well, because Yera's not coming back, then yeah, he's really taken it. So we are witnessing Palmer as our champion here in GT3, with Yera not returning. And even if Yera returns for the last race,
Grand J10 now into the pits for what is going to be possibly his final lap, final pit stop.
Palmer is our current champion because he is more than 2 race wins ahead of Yera. So, yeah, Palmer's our GT3 championship for the Ferrari GT World Challenge.
So I'll tell you what, a champion's drive, of course, winning at least with about 6 wins of the season. The only time we've had another driver who's won 6 races out of a 12-race calendar was Master Swift in our GT3 Pro Class category.
Yeah, I'm just going to check the archive now.
With the 95 AMG. And Palmer now, I think, with the Ferraris, has put on an absolute show of a drive. And so now Palmer is pretty much going to clinch the championship with 1 race left to go. Oh, he's gone a bit too deep. Palmer did, to get the better drive on out. He's lost about 0.2 of a second, but I think he's going to get that time back quite drastically. James Head now. Grand J10's actually going to... I'll tell you what, though. Grand J10 has actually fallen back to the point where Duck Barrow is now running 4th overall as the GT4 class leader.
And Bar's moved out the way there, I think. But now made that 4th.
You were cutting out a bit again, Elliot, just to let you know.
Oh, that's weird. I was just saying Grand J10's made his 4th stop.
I'm aware.
And Doug's let him through.
Yeah, pretty easy stuff for multi-class racing, I'd say.
I was just looking back at our GT3 championship, and Swift had 6 wins there.
Yes.
In the GT3 Championship. Let's look at GT4. It was Durdude with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Durdude's also had 6 race wins with us. Let's check the Mazdas.
And that was 24 rounds as well, so.
Yeah, and James took the championship in that one with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins out of 24. So he took the championship.
James had, I'll tell you what though, had he and Palmer. James had to really come to light because Palmer had the championship lead, and then it really came down to just second place finishes from that race. That's how it came down. Tied on points, tied on first place finishes, and then it came down to second places, which James had more of. Palmer really looked to try and come back hard in this championship, and now he's going to win the championship, of course, for the Side Max crew. Championship. Yeah, he's going to win that championship for the Side Max crew, of course.
Granjo turns off again.
And now he's got the GT4 guys right behind him. Oh, he's not that far off. James Head's actually going to get. James Head actually going to get blue flags for the GT4 class leaders.
Carefully here because Bar's lagging a lot.
He's not really on my screen. Actually, he kind of is. He's going to hang to the. Okay, good move for James to get on the outside. What about James Head on Doug Barrow? James going to get that move done quickly. He's actually going to take it a bit too deep.
Not. He's gone wide.
He's gone a bit deep, I'll tell you what.
You think they're racing for position with that?
No, he's not. And so there goes James Head. Well and truly off into the distance with that 600 plus horsepower Ferrari. Palmer now
James just saying thank you, and Doug acknowledging as well.
Palmer now taking a 4-second lead over the number 82 Ferrari of Viper. And you think Viper could have won this race, Elliot? You think Viper could have won this race?
I think Palmer's just too quick. As James pits again. Is that
James Head, I'll tell you what, fastest lap. That's what he's going for.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's on a very low fuel load. He's going to go for it, and it is possible. I'd say it's possible. He's done a 56. He just needs to find 9/10 of a second, or a second. Really, he needs to find a second in what he's already done. His fastest lap times are 1:56.7.
And qualifying for him was a 56. Am I correct? Or was it a 55?
I cannot remember. But yeah, usually, I don't know. I don't think he's got enough time. Yeah, he does. Sorry, no, he does.
He will have one lap to do it.
Yeah, he will. He'll have this as an out lap, but I don't think the tyres would have scrubbed in after the end of this lap. And he's got to consider traffic. If he's going to go for it, he could back. He got 40. How many seconds?
He's going to try and get by them as quick as he can this time by. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I was going to say, in terms of traffic, he's got so much clear space behind him, being that the next car behind him is Hair Razor, and then there's a huge amount of space then.
A fast lap now for Palmer with a 55.795. So Palmer now setting some incredibly fast laps here on this final lap.
James is backing off. James is backing off. He's looking for clear space. James is looking for clear space, so he is going for fastest lap here, and he will keep the podium place as well.
You're not to worry about Grand J10 here.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. James has gone back on it again. He's
trying to get by the guys. He's trying to get by.
But he dropped at least 5 seconds back from Bar.
Oh, he put a wheel off in the 130R. My God, he's really trying to get by.
Or is he timing this so that he can pass Doug on the start-finish straight? He's not going to pass Doug on the start-finish straight, though. James won't get fastest lap here, but he'll keep third place.
We'll see what he can do, obviously.
Unless he gets the toe here. In fact, yeah, he's going to get the slipstream. Look at this. He's going to go for it.
Right on by.
I'm going to keep an eye on sectors. I'm keeping an eye on sectors. Palmer got a purple sector 3 on the last lap.
Yeah. And so now...
And in fact, his last lap was the fastest lap of the race, 55.7. So he's acknowledged James coming into the pit lane for a fresh set of tyres. James has got to find exactly 1 second. Exactly a second.
So he's got to be on it here for this lap. And I'll tell you what though now, coming to pat through Spoon for the final time, it's been quite the season. Palmer's actually slowing up. Palmer's going to slow up. Palmer's now slowing up.
No. He's not out of fuel.
No, he's not. What is this all about?
No, but Viper's closer to lower fuel. Is CJ? He's gifting CJ a win here. He's got the championship. He's going to let other people win the races.
Wow, what sportsmanship that is for Palmer. You win the championship,
CJ's coming through to take his first and
possibly only win of the season. I'll tell you what though, Viper has been one of the quicker drivers in the championship to not win a race, but true sportsmanship to Palmer. Viper's going to get his first win of the season on that note right there. What absolute sportsmanship from Palmer.
What's James doing? James has gone fastest in first in Sector 1. Purple Sector 1, green Sector 2.
Grand J10 will come through for fourth. Doug Barrow's done incredible work, and so has Barr.
Yeah, Doug's got fastest lap in GT4s as well. Barr's gone off wide.
Oh, James really on the jagged edge. He's really going to try and go for that fast lap.
What was his sectors like? Sector 3 was okay.
Oh,
James
is being extremely aggressive here today.
Did he get it? Did he get it to the line?
No!
He's just missed out. 57.8 versus the 57. Sorry, last lap 50.
56.1.
56.
56.1.
This is glitching. 56.1. It's only just shown. 56.1 versus the 55.7. So 4 tenths off.
And Doug Barrow
coming through for second.
And Doug Barrow will come home for his first GT4 class win of the season. Bar 27 will also come through for his first second place of the season as well. And Hairraiser will round out the. And Hairraiser will round him off for an all-winding road racing sweep of the podium. Unfortunately for Tice to disconnect early on. Of course, that is going to blow the championship wide open. But for the first time this season, Viper, who's shown incredible pace all season long, but just wasn't able to finally put together on the fact that Palmer clinching the championship, gifting Viper the win, and that is some true sportsmanship right there, I'd say. And so now we're going to give invites on out to basically everyone. Yeah. Dang it! I'm going to suggest them to you your way, basically.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know how I defend.
Suggested.
Very easily. I don't defend very
That should be 6 people, right? Yeah, 6. Invite.
And so Palmer getting the fastest lap of the race for his class in GT3s. Doug Barrow also getting a bonus point for his fastest lap of the day in the GT4 class.
We will get interviews done this week. We did cut them short. Sorry, Trevor did cut them short last week.
Yeah, I apologize for that, and as well as in advance. But we will have them done this week as well. We are starting to get the podium finishers into the party as well. And I'd say before we close up to the parties, to the interviews as well, Elliot, I could say that was quite the interesting race as well, mate. I could say that was quite the interesting race.
Yeah, it wasn't totally as boring as I had maybe quietly thought it would be. And I have always said, despite the fact that we only had 8 drivers before the disconnect for the time drivers still attending, I've always said quality of the racing tonight was superb as always.
Right, so we're going to kick off the podium interviews, starting out with the GT4 class, working our way up. We'll start off with Hairraiser. And Hairraiser, I think, of course, you, the Winding Road guys, looking very, very strong out there. Of course, you did get last overall in the grid, but with Tice's disconnect, you do get 3rd place for an all Winding Road sweep at the podium. We'll start out with you, Hairraiser. Talk to us about your race today, bud.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle, to be honest with you. I thought I was trying to get past Bar, but it didn't work. I tried a 2-pit strategy, but obviously Bar was quicker than me. Yeah, and well done to Doug, because he really pushed hard.
So a good day for Hairraiser in the 69, of course, falling short to Bar's 1-stop but of course strategy was was a bit interesting all up down the field. We'll move on to Bar 27, who clinches his first podium of the season in the number 27 Ferrari. Bar, we don't usually hear podium interviews from you, mate. Tell us about your race today, and I can tell you're possibly ecstatic for this podium today. So quite short and sweet to the point for Bar 27 to get his first podium of the season as well. Were you kind of expecting to end up on the podium today, in all honesty with you? I'd say after Tice's disconnect, I think that dream became finally a reality for you, because we don't usually hear from you from the podium today. So a good check mark to click off the season priorities right there. So good day for you in the 27th. We'll finally move on to Doug Barrow, who gets his first win of the season finally, and that's put you basically right up with Tice for second place in the championship, Doug. So you're still in it with a fighting chance for second place to spoil the Climax party. Tell us about your race today, Doug.
Hollow victory. Happy with the strategy. Knew I was going to be quicker than Bar just from practice. Shocked by Razor because his practice was so much quicker. I don't know whether he was what was going on. He was pushing and just couldn't make the time, but that's not what he said he was going to say in the interview. Let me just say that. No, it was good. I was happy with it. I only had one lap that could compete with the sort of times that Tej was putting down. So, unlucky that he disconnected. Lucky for me. Lucky for Winding Road. Take the podium 1, 2, 3. That's all right. We can take that. However we get it.
I think, were you kind of expecting to end up on the top step of the podium today after Tice's disconnect, or was that kind of a big shock to you and for all the Winding Road racing guys?
After his disconnect, I was pretty sure that I'd get the top spot. Obviously, without his disconnect, I was pretty sure I'd get second with the field that was running. So yeah, no, happy with it.
And so a good day for the all Winding Road racing guys who do sweep the podium as well, trying to get up some good valuable points against the Climax crew. But of course, with the finale next weekend at Fuji International Speedway, it's going to set things up for the GT4 guys. Very, very interesting as well. So a good day for the Winding Road racing guys, all importantly. We'll finally move on to the GT3 class, and we'll start off with the man in third. James had our pole sitter from the beginning of the race. And I think unfortunately the car kind of stepped away from you, unfortunately, James, and I think you were just not able to do anything except try and get just settled down for third. Tell us about your race today, James.
Rubbish car, rubbish track. Next question.
Right. Did you think you'd be starting on the front with the pole position today? Did you think you'd be getting pole position like that?
I knew Palmer obviously was going to be trying something from the back, and I had an inkling that I was going to get like third or second maybe, but never pole position. I just feel so sorry for Viper, who had to put up with me on the front row of the grid for about 10 minutes before I spun. But it was an okay race. I'm just disappointed.
And one last question for you, James, as well. I assume that final stop was to try and get the fastest lap at the end of the race, right there.
It was, and down into 130R, I was 1,000th purple going into 130R, and I just overcooked it slightly going through the last chicane through the Casio Triangle. Never thought I would get fastest lap, but I tried.
Good effort for you, James, of course. But of course, like I said, rubbish car, rubbish track. Next question, kind of the conclusion for the number 7. But we do have one more race at Fuji for the season as well. But we will get the celebrations starting early because we do have our main man, the championship winner for the GT3 class, SLM Palmer, clinching the championship with another second place finish today. Tell us about your race today, Palmer.
To be honest, I'm kind of disappointed with my racecraft today. Of course, I made quite a bit of contact with Viper, but yeah, of course, the plan was always to start last in GT3s and see how it goes from there. Yeah, I didn't think I would catch up as quickly as I would. as of course James and Viper had quite good pace, and of course that was shown. And of course James was I think only about 4/10 off my fastest lap. But yeah, to be honest, I sort of kept this a secret from the guys, but of course, the plan was always to try and get to the front, and then on the last lap, let whoever's in second pass. Of course, yeah, I kind of want to see another person win. Since it's always been me and Ray this season, and I wanted someone else to get that winning trophy, but. Yeah, of course, with the lack of drivers, I guess, I was quite happy to put up a good battle with Viper. Yeah, and of course, I was losing quite a lot of time in the second stint. So of course I tried it on the inside at the hairpin, but of course Viper got the better exit. Yeah, and then of course it's impossible to pass at 130R, so I sort of went back and then dropped back, I should say, and then of course got dived down the inside of the chicane. Of course there was a bit of contact, but to be honest, I feel I was already ahead, and I left enough room on the outside. So of course I believe I wasn't the fault for that contact, but in the end, of course that doesn't really matter. But yeah, of course, it's time to move on to Viper.
So another, I'd say I'd use the word magnificent sportsmanship from you, Palmer. Of course, wanting to see someone other than the Sidemex crew win. But of course, I don't think that really matters as much, because you do clinch the championship as well. But of course, with that championship, you take the ultimate prize of the Ferrari G2 World Challenge GT3 Championship with you back to the Sidemex crew. And of course, like I said, magnificent sponsorship from you, Palmer. We'll finally move on to the man, his first win of the season, Viper. Viper, I don't think you were expecting to end up here on the top step of the podium today.
Honestly, first of all, I just got to say I give a lot of respect to Palmer for that incredible sportsmanship move right there. Honestly, if he didn't do that, I would have just been like, still in second place and all that. So, but no, today. It's a good battle with everybody in the top three, with James and Palmer there in the first stint right there. And then obviously the battle with me and Palmer continued throughout into stint number 3, and then the last stint, was just whoever shot me on the strategy, got me out of the pit lane before I could get down the front straight. And then the rest was history at that point. And then obviously that sportsmanship movement right there gave me the win right there. But I think it came down to really tire management as well, and then as well as fighting our own cars to try to keep them on the track, because I will admit the cars were a bit sketchy to drive in this track today, and as well as fighting other cars, but a little bit bumping and shoving in here and there, but that's just racing. That's all I can say, really. But good race. I really wanted to win the race today, and then practice paid off a lot. So now we'll go on to the season finale at Fuji next Sunday, and hopefully we'll get another W there.
And so one more question for you before I do cut the stream. So you did talk earlier before we started the race that you really wanted to win a Suzuka as well. What makes Suzuka to you one of the more important tracks for you in the season calendar, of course?
Honestly, Suzuka is probably my most skilled track on the calendar, to be honest. It's just such a good course for me, because I know it like the back of my mind. And obviously, I was a little disappointed to possibly see my win go into the dust, but no, that sportsmanship move from Palmer there gained a lot of respect from me as well, from me, not for me, from me. So I'm tired. I'm heading back to the garage and stuff like that. So yeah, for a nice water and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I think with that we will have to. I think we'll close off now, Trev.
Yeah, sounds about right. Good day for everyone today. Congratulations to all our finishers as well. And we're going to move on to the season finale next week at the Fuji International Speedway. I've been joined by Elliot F64. I'm our Road Race Dudes, SC_RDZ. If you did enjoy the Ferrari GT World Challenge penultimate race of the season, leave a like, leave a comment, and if you want to follow up for the finale of the season and for any other future motorsporting activities on the SLM channel, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. I've been joined by Elliot F64. I am SM_RZ, and we'll see you guys next time for the finale of the Ferrari GT World Challenge.